Alright, so today we're going to look at, we're going to kind of connect with social studies a little bit. You guys are learning about the Middle East. So we're going to read this informational article about Turkey and how it is the climate and the terrain and how that affects the way people live in Turkey. So first thing on the back of that, you have a KWL chart, which is a what I want to know, and what I learned chart. So go right now and fill out the what I know, and it should be quite a bit of information if you've been paying attention to this Barbieri's class. Yes? What you know about Turkey so far. There you go. All right, looks like we got some good information. So raise your hand. Give me something that you already know about Turkey. Isma.
That's 22 dams.
It has what?
22 dams.
22 dams. Okay. Colin.
Euphrates and Tigris.
Euphrates and the Tigris rivers. Harold. All right, so they blocked the flow of water. What are some things that we want to know about here? Dylan, let's go back to you.
It's a weird one, but do they actually have turkeys in it?
All right, are there turkeys?
Turkey.
Let's see, well, maybe we could just say what kind of livestock. Farming type things. Santiago.
Why is it called turkey?
All right, where'd the name come from?
That was because they have turkeys.
Nadia.
I don't know, how many wars did they have?
All right, so wars, that's a good one. Did they fight in any wars? That's some good information. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to flip over and we're going to read this informational article. You're going to follow along with me as we're reading. And what I'm going to do is show you how I want you to read informational text. When I give you a text and you read it on your own, for this one I'm going to read it to you and you're going to follow along. And I'm going to summarize, no thank you, don't interrupt. I'm going to summarize each paragraph, and that's exactly what I want you to do when you're reading, because it makes it very easy to go back into the text when you know a very, very brief summary of each paragraph. We know, just from the title, that this is probably going to be about agriculture, maybe some climate, maybe some terrain. All right, let's follow along on your paper. Turkey, the country, not the bird, is famously known as the gateway to Asia because of its location between the Middle East and southeastern Europe. With such a key position on the map, Turkey has a great deal of historical importance, and people have traveled through, traded across, and settled here for thousands of years. All right, I'm going to summarize that. So, rich history, thousands of years, located, Middle East. Nice and easy. It's only about a tenth as big as the United States, but Turkey's terrain and climates are remarkably varied. From mountains to plateaus to lying coastal regions, the environments of Turkey have offered challenges and opportunities to their inhabitants throughout history. In turn, people have learned how to make the most of what the land has to offer. I'm going to underline that, make the most of what the land has to offer. Climatologists, people who study long-term weather patterns and trends over specific areas, divide the country into 7 zones, each of which has its own usual weather and distinct terrain. People have learned to use the land within each section of the country for what it can best provide, which is different for each area. So I'm going to say varied. What does varied mean? Different. Varied terrains, climates. The Marmara region in the northwestern part of Turkey is a small region of the country. However, it's the most populous region, primarily because it is home to the country's largest city, Istanbul. The Marmara region is noted for its rolling hills, which are built up with houses as well as the many apartment complexes and businesses throughout the metropolis of Istanbul. So I'm going to summarize that one. Marmara equals populous, and we'll say hilly. The hills sometimes slope gently into the Bosphorus, the strait that divides Istanbul into Eastern Asia and Western European sides. but other hills have eroded into sharp cliffs. Ruins of fortresses built into the sides of these cliffs are reminders of how people once used the natural defensive quality of the land to their advantage. With high, steep vantage points, the cliffs helped the troops stay safer while fighting with greater aggression. So that kind of goes back to one of the what do we want to know, kind of talks about it a little bit. If there are ruins of fortresses and fighting, we know there were wars, so maybe we can put a little question there. What wars were there and how long ago? Where there is water, it has been easier historically to support many types of agriculture. Additionally, sea and rivers offer easy trade and transportation routes. The Aegean region of Turkey is home to the second largest port in the country, Izmir. And people have made the most of the mild winters and wet climates by farming crops like olives and figs. The Black Sea coast also has a rainy climate, which supports the growth of a lot of the world's supply of hazelnuts. So I'm going to say the Aegean region. We'll say it is rainy, good agriculture. Based on Turkey's varied agriculture, it seems as though people have learned how to get what they need to survive out of Turkey's different lands. So, we're going to take all this information, and that's where the clicker card comes in that I gave you as you walked in.
This card, right?
This card. As you can see, on each side there is a letter that corresponds to a multiple choice question. If you say you wanted to answer B, you would find the B and you would hold that up in the air like this, and I'm going to take my phone and I can scan the room and see who got it right. On my phone, I put your name and the house that you belong into. So if I see that everybody from Hufflepuff got it right, I'm going to put a point or 5 points into your house cup. In this text, the author discusses the country of Turkey. How is the discussion of Turkey structured? Is it the author begins by describing a specific region of Turkey and then describing the whole country? Is it he begins by describing the government of Turkey and ends by describing the different languages spoken in Turkey? Is it by describing the Aegean region of Turkey and then ending by describing the Marmara region of Turkey? Or is it by describing the whole country and then describing the specific regions of it? Go ahead and hold your answer up. We should be able to get this one quickly.
You put the letter at the bottom.
The letter should be at the top of the box.
That big me.
Looks like everybody got that one correct. So everybody's getting some points.
Yes, sir.
Next question.
Whoa, what is going on here?
The author claims that Turkey's terrain or land is remarkably varied. What evidence in the text supports this claim? Is it the mountains of eastern Anatolia are not suited for farming the same fruits as the more temperate regions of Turkey are? Is it central Anatolia is a part of Turkey with plateau lands where grains and cotton grow? Or there are hills, plateaus, mountains, and low-lying coastal regions in Turkey? Or the Marmara region in Turkey is known for its rolling hills, which are built up with houses. Go ahead and put your answer. Let's go. Come on, put your answer up.
Hold up.
Harold, you got an answer?
Hold up.
Hurry up, Carol.
Put the answer on top.
All right. I got you. Well,
Let's see.
yeah, I got yours.
I get right? Wait, I didn't even put it out.
The question again was, how does he explain that the land and terrain is remarkably varied, which you said varied meant different, so.
So there's hills, which is different from the plateaus, which are flatlands, and the mountains are sort of related to the hills, but they're higher, they're elevated in the low-lying coastal regions that has water and rivers.
Perfect. Every single one of these is different. All the other ones talk about how they're similar. Colin, I'm going to give you your house, which is
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. Ready? What's the main idea of this text? Turkey is a country where hazelnuts, wheat, and barley are grown. Southeastern Anatolia is a region of Turkey that is dry and hot. Turkey is a country with various climates and terrains. As a result, citizens have adapted. Turkey is a country located in the Middle East and has a large population of people and a rich cultural history.
How'd you do that? I don't know. She's the third reason.
Fingers, Courtney.
Yeah. Let Dylan.
Ooh, I think we might have tricked some people on this one.
Oh,
Towards me, Diego. Straight up in there. Thank you. I don't know which one you're holding up. All right. Final points go to Gryffindor.
Slytherin.
Just Gryffindor.
Oh, come on, Slytherin.
So, what's the correct answer? A lot of you put D, but does it talk about, is the main idea that the population, and it has a rich cultural history? No. What does this article talk about mostly?
Climate.
Focus back up here. Focus back up here.
Oh, the climate and the water and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember something. Yeah.
It talks about the climates and the terrains and how it's all different and varied. And it talks about how citizens had to adapt, right? All right, so go back to your KWL chart. I want to see what you learned. I want at least 2 or 3 bullet points about what you learned. You got about 2 minutes before we transition. Diego P, why don't you tell me what your first one was? I like that one.
I learned that the climate of Turkey is different in regions.
That the what?
The climate of Turkey is different in regions.
Climates in Turkey are different depending on the region. Who else can give me something they learned from the article? Courtney. Hold on. Go ahead. All right, so yeah, that's a nice little term. Known as the gateway to the Middle East and to Europe, because it sits right in the middle. Kimberly? Terrain is varied. What are some of the example terrains that they have? Hills, plateaus, mountainous,
Farming.
farming, coastal. Yeah, good. And one more, Cheyenne.
Now what?
Located in the Middle East. Good. Nice and easy. Go tell Miss Barbie everything you learned about Turkey, and she's going to be so impressed.
Yeah, she's
Right.
yeah, because of us.
I know. All right, good. You can pack up.